All right, so the next part of this entire project is going to be the bed. Yes, it hasn't had a bed the entire time I've had it, so now it is time. I took my father-in-law to Lowe's with me. I'm gonna go show you the wood that we got and we splurged on a little bit, more than I wanted to spend, but sometimes you bring someone with you and that's the way it goes. This is my wonderful father-in-law. Yeah. He's always willing to go with me to spend money for a project. He'll jump at anything. If it's spending money on a car thing, he will go with me to spend money. Where did we just come from?
Lowe's.
If you plan on going to Lowe's and spending a little bit of money, don't bring another gearhead with you to encourage you to spend more money than you needed to. It got into my head, and so I spent some more money. I went in there to go and buy 2 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood. And when I saw the price, I was like, perfect. Even on the way over there, I was saying, you know what? I want to be in this thing like 200 bucks with wood and bolts and anything else that I need for it. And if I get 5 years out of it, I'm happy. So that was the plan walking in. I let him go ahead and walk down further in the aisle where all the good stuff was.
Better plywood with better finish.
So
for the bed.
Let me show you what. Oh, here comes the wife. $200.
How much? Plywood?
No, it's not for plywood. It's for the bed of my truck. Your father also went with me, who you should be pointing the finger at him. So here's what we got. I went there to buy plywood. I ended up buying finished oak plywood. 2 3/4 inch sheets of finished oak plywood. You know, I always sometimes just do shit, and then when I cheap out on it, I always kick myself in the ass and said I should have spent the extra money. And that's what I told myself while I was there. I had no intention of buying this expensive of plywood, but when I was standing there and I realized plywood versus what that will look like in the truck, it was a no-brainer. It's oak, and so it's gonna get beat up, I understand that, but I think just it's gonna be a better product. I'll be much happier when it's done. Otherwise, I may have kicked myself in the ass later on. I'm hoping to be in this like 250, maybe 300 bucks by the time I might go buy stainless steel hardware so that it's nice and good looking on the top. That shit doesn't rust or anything. We shall see. Right now, I'm in at 200 bucks with the plywood. If you just go with 3/4 inch plywood, right now it's about 40 bucks. You could definitely do it for a little bit cheaper, but I got talked into doing it. And in the end, I'm pretty sure I'll be happy. The dimensions for this 8-foot long bed. Here's a cut line, center, wheel well center. So let me come back to these. And then there's a little notch here as well that I'm going to be taking out to utilize most of the board back here. So it is 95 inches. I don't have it strung all the way out. I have this set up to show you something else in a minute. It's 95 inches from this corner to that corner over there. 95 inches. And then it is 2 3/8 of an inch long this way. And so cut that notch out. That's what's going to fit here in the back. Okay, so that's for all the way from edge to edge. All you got to do is really notch out this corner in the back for a 4x8 piece of plywood. This is for a long bed truck. Now, for the wheel well center, the way that I measured is I drag this over here. I use the measuring tape basically as a plane, almost to kind of mimic the wood, at least the bottom portion of it. And then it's sitting on this side as well, so you can see from this side how it kind of resembles the wood, or what the plane of the wood would be. Okay, so what I did is I went and I said, how far is that from edge to edge to the center of the tire? It was right at about 53 inches from the edge of here to the wheel well center here. I just made a quick reference point. Okay, so I just gave myself a wheel well center, so I knew where center was and kind of start getting my layout of my wheel well. Now, for the next thing I wanted to do, I needed to figure out, well, how far do I need to cut out? This is kind of mimicking the floor, and so I just rolled it up until it touched it. There, it's now touching the bottom. That's where it would touch. That's where the wood would touch the floor. Okay, and so I went back. What's that measurement? That was 64.5. I gave myself a whole inch out of that. So if I cut 65.5, now you can see It's not going to touch it at all. It's going to hug the tire pretty close without having to go all the way out. I've still got some work to do. I feel like this cut definitely should have been shorter. It could have been closer to the wheel. I can live with it. I can deal with it, but I would have liked it to be probably another inch in. All right, so I'm going back to the drawing board. I was offered some good advice that I'm definitely going to take. My initial plan was to cut this right down the middle, and then someone pointed out to me that you should cut it over on this side. This side is perfectly straight since this is what I'm going to butt it up to in the middle. So I want to keep this nice straight edge down the middle. This will do two things. Keep that, I mean, I'm going to get it as straight as I can, but it'll keep that up against this side. So I joint these two straight pieces together. It'll also allow me to correct this right here. So what I've done since I've taken it out of the truck is I took off the 12.5 inches from the edge of the board over here and gave myself this straight cut. So this edge actually now is going to be up against that side of the truck bed. I've also already notched it for the little notch that's in the back of the truck bed. Now what I've done is I'm gonna get these closer. Like I said, I've marked these at 11.5 inches from this point right here to right here. Now I'm hoping it's just gonna clear the tire. I could have gone a little bit more. I'm gonna try and keep it as close as I can. I think 11.5 should get me the clearance I need and be just up on the tire. So we're gonna start there. I'd rather start smaller and then cut out more. I wanted to fix this anyway, so this is a good opportunity. All right, back in place, and I feel much better about how this lines up and the spacing, about everything. So this is pretty much final resting point. You can see half of it is filled in. Now I need to go and duplicate this essentially over there. I may just take this out, run it as a template on the other one, and then be done with it. So here's how it ended up working out. If you look right down here, you can tell now that this gap here is much smaller than it was with the previous version. So I ended up taking out what I needed from this side. Cuts pretty straight. Again, bed's not perfect, but definitely lines up along the edge in the corners everywhere where I need it to be. It's notched out back here in the back for this little notch here. Okay, much happier with this. Better outcome. 1/2 complete. I'm gonna take this and then just mock it up on the other one, trace the template, cut it out, and then have me a second side. This piece here came out of the bed just as it sits right here. This piece is face down with the side I'm gonna finish under here. I made all my marks. I scribed it and marked it up here. So I'm gonna cut this piece out. Here's gonna be my edge up against that tail, or against the bed panel. And then once I cut this out, then I'll cut the wheel well out. And when I get this piece, what I'll do is I'll flip it just like it is, like this, and it'll butt up against that wheel well, into that wheel well, and against that panel. Well, there it is. Oak plywood bed complete in a 65 C10. I like the way it looks. I'm very pleased with it. I'm completely content with this. The wheel tubs are obviously going to cover these. Much happier with this. Seam right down the middle is perfect. Kept those natural. And got these little guys notched out here in the corner as well. So that is how you do a plywood bed for a old truck. The next part of this is going to be to bolt it in and get it all bolted down. How I'm going to do that is I'm going to get the bolts that line up here. I am going to lift these back up one at a time. I'll take one out and then I'll lay the bolts in exactly where they need to go. I will then push this back down and hopefully find the impression underneath. I might even get some black tape put on top of the bolt, hit it with a little dab of paint or something like that, and then lay it down so I see exactly where they are on the underneath, and I'll drill those holes so that everything lines up perfect when I go put all the bolts back in. And then I'll start lining up these around the edge. That's going to be step 2. But there's how you cut the wood and do everything to get it lined up This is a long bed. I might go in here and burn this. Not sure. Give it that kind of burned look. For right now, we can do that at any given time. So for right now, I'm just gonna get it sanded down a little bit. I might put a little clear or something on it just to kind of protect it from weather elements for a period of time. And then I may burn this thing with the torch just to give it that look at some point. But for now, I at least have a truck bed in here. It has been many, many years. Oh, I'm so happy to see this. So happy to see it. All right, so if you enjoy these videos like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. A lot more content like this on this build that's going to be coming up. A lot of motorcycle stuff as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you watching. Hope this helped.